Chapter 3. How dare you insult me? On top of the defensive knee-jerk backlash against any perceived implication that we are bad people who must therefore naturally deserve to be imprisoned, tortured, and executed like the inhuman monsters that we are, the reality is that any perceived assault on our egos, either real or imagined, often triggers a similar response. For example, the wave of anti-intellectualism which was largely responsible for the Brexit vote and Trump winning the presidency back in 2016 is literally nothing but people feeling insulted by the implication that other people are better than they are. Then, as a direct consequence of that perceived insult, either taking action or folding their arms and refusing to do so out of spite, and as before, sometimes creating vast and absurd conspiracy theories for the sole purpose of making themselves feel better. Indeed, from anti-vaxxers to Trump supporters who tweet endlessly about fake news, the deep state, and QAnon, when you strip away all of the absurd illusions which they've constructed to justify and rationalize their outrage beyond one other aspect, which I'll explore in the next chapter, all that remains is wounded pouting over the fact that experts and the elite won't listen to their legitimate concerns, that to paraphrase Isaac Asimov, the experts and the elite refuse to regard their ignorance as being just as valid as their own knowledge and experience. And going back to the point that I made in the introduction of this audiobook, the catch-22 that results from all of this is that if experts and others attempt to explain that the reason why no one listens to them is the fact that they are wrong, full stop, then they often feel even more insulted and grow more fanatical in their self-righteous denial and willful ignorance out of spite. Of course, this is the point at which any concrete-minded individuals who are still listening to this audiobook will no doubt attempt to make themselves feel better by building a straw man, claiming that I'm telling all stupid people to shut up and obey the superior experts, once again implying that anyone who hurts their delicate feelings is either wittingly or unwittingly part of an oppressive tyranny which demands total agreement, silence, and obedience, and thus implicitly casting themselves as the stalwart heroes who are defying and fighting back against this oppression. But on the contrary, though, I'm simply asking everyone to first of all recognise that our reactions and our beliefs are often far more influenced by our emotions and our egos than we ever dare to admit, especially when we're insisting that they're not, and secondly, to understand that when we do finally recognise this fact, then it's far less difficult for us to keep an open mind to examine the reasons why the experts, the elite and others believe what they believe, and then to draw the appropriate conclusions, always questioning those in authority, absolutely, but also questioning ourselves and the reasons why we believe as we do.